Why are there so many Viking Age runestones here? That's what I'm finding out today by visiting many runestones around Uppland to uncover the secrets behind these mysterious monuments.
Welcome to Uppland, the land of 1,000 runestones. Nowhere else in the world has this many Viking Age runestones concentrated on one place. In and around Uppsala you can find them in fields, by churches, and sometimes even forgotten in the woods. We also have this. These are amazing. They smell really good and they just blossom early summer, late spring. Sirens, it's called. More than 1,000 runic inscriptions has been discovered here, and that's not a coincidence. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, our first runestones. And here's another one. This area was a cultural and political hub during the Viking Age, with old Uppsala as its center. But you're probably asking yourself, what is Uppland? Well, pretty simply said, it's in the south of Sweden, most populated region in Sweden, and it has something called the Uppland Fields, which is very good soil to make farmland. So that's why a lot of people usually here now and during the Viking Age. So most of these runestones were places where people would ride or walk past almost every day. They were meant to be seen. And you see this road here, there's a lot of traffic, but this is probably from an old road. People got through here to get to the city. The nice thing about like looking for runestones like this, you find places you never even knew existed. This is like a little hidden gem with just a red house everywhere. Looks super cozy. Some more sirens. You gotta do these on each single one I see. Yeah, well, some runestones, they're very small. The size doesn't matter, alright? Right? As you can see up there, there's also one. And sometimes they're carved into churches' wall. But what is a runestone? So runestones are stone monuments, usually carved around 950 to 1100 AD. They use the Viking alphabet, runes, to share short messages. Well, most of the runestones are memorials, remembering someone they loved who died. And as you saw there, behind the fence there was 2 runestones. I didn't want to go in because there was someone's lawn, but officially you cannot own a runestone. It's like public property, so you can go in and look at them. But I think the people who live there, they're probably not happy if I do that, so let's just avoid any of that. Oh, there's another one. I don't think this is someone's lawn, so let's go right to it. So as I said, these runestones are usually a memorial for someone who died, who they loved. But not everyone could have made the runestones and things like this. You gotta be a little higher up, or you gotta have some power, some money. Where's the ka-ching ka-ching? As you can see, no, don't fall, motherfuckers. And here you can see another runestone. And they usually have these little texts sometimes, so you can see what it meant. So here it says Ragnvid put up this stone, and Åsmund did the inscription. And on the other one it says Öpir made the inscription. And both of them have made a lot of runestones. They're actually skilled rune makers, Öpir and Åsmund. And it's actually said behind here there's a lot of graves. I'm not sure if it's from the Viking Age, but probably. And what's so amazing about this is that it's just literally in the middle of nowhere in Uppland. Okay, people live here, but what I mean is no one knows that this exists except if you have the rune map. I can link it down below, but there's a rune map of the whole of Sweden where you can see where every runestone is. It's actually amazing. But the runestones are more than just grave markers. These stones are public statements of loss, land, ownership, and faith. Why can't I not say that good? Faith. Some runestones are even boastful. Wealthy families could afford to commission a Rune Master to carve out the stone for them, and sometimes even sign it. So for example, the Åsmund and Öpir guy, well, you gotta have some cash to bring those guys in. Why did the Vikings raise the runestones? The runestones were tools of memory, but also of power. They were often placed on boundaries, roads, or near burial mounds to say, hey, this is my land, or he was my kin. With Christianity rising, many stones began to include crosses and blessings for the soul. God bless his soul. So famous stones and rune masters was Öpir, for example, which we saw one of his stones. He was a master rune carver whose stones are full of swirling serpents. He did over 60 stones here in Uppland. And also a place in Täby, which is a suburb in Stockholm. A powerful nobleman, Jarla Banke, he raised runestones declaring that he owned all of Täby. That's literally branding. He was like, this is my place, I own this, I'm Jarla Banke, blah 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 blah. You know, and that's interesting because I only thought the runestones were like, remember my father, bro. But no. And behind every runestone, there's people who wanted to be remembered. And they succeeded. So I'm right now on my way to the place where there's most runestones in the whole city. And actually, starting to get summer. It's so nice out here. Green leaves just everywhere. Actually, this person made this stone himself. Usually it's just a runestone maker who makes the stone, but this person, Big Moon, he made it himself in a memory of himself. This was actually carved by Öpir, you know, the runestone maker we were talking about before, and it was made in a memory of a girl or a woman. That was pretty rare, and as you can see here, this cross, that means probably like the conversion to Christianity from the Viking Age. And you can always read things about the runestone here, so if you ever come here to Uppsala, it's very nice. This one is actually made by the Rune Master Åsemund. We talked about him before too, so they're everywhere. These guys are famous like 1,000 years after their death because of this stone. Here you can see another cross right here. Here again. What do we see here? Why did that one smell like shit? Why are people driving here? Come on, man. You can see like here the classic serpent that Öpir made. You see it very clearly. Actually really cool. How you interpret the rune stones, as I have come to understand it, is like the letters are in these kind of things. These are just symbols and things. These are just symbols. These ones are the one you read. And then you can translate it to English and get a text from it. It's actually beautiful. As you can see, there's one runestone, there's one, there. So there are a lot of them just on the row here. Biggest church in the north, by the way. You gotta say that every time you come here because, I don't know, it's the biggest church in the north, come on. And as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runestones all in one place right next to the church here. So these stones were not here throughout history. They brought them here from all over Uppland and stapled them all together. But why are there so many runestones here in Uppland and not, for example, in Norway or Denmark or somewhere else in Sweden? So during the Viking Age, Uppland was one of the most densely populated and wealthiest regions in Sweden. Large farms and powerful families could afford the cost of raising a runestone, which was expensive and symbolized status. Uppland and Old Uppsala was also a major religious and political center. Later, as Christianity spread, runestones became a way to express Christian faith publicly, often with crosses and prayers carved into the stone. Each of these stones holds a story about love, loss, pride and belief. The people who raised them may be gone, but they left behind something we can still touch, still read and still feel. And here in Uppland, their voices are everywhere, carved in stone. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Look. I feel like wherever I go where the rune stars are, here are the sirens. They're probably not named sirens, by the way, but let's call them that. What a day with sirens. But what is behind the rune stones? Look here, there's nothing. It's just stone. It's quite a big piece of stone right here. Look at this one and this one. What about that one? Another one. Nice.